Hatshepsut, Egypt's female pharaoh, her rise, reign, and disappearance in a world ruled by kings. One woman changed everything. Her name was Hatshepsut, the first great female pharaoh of Egypt. A woman who rose above tradition, ruled as a king, and then, mysteriously, disappeared from history. This is her story. Chapter 1, Early Life and Royal Lineage. Hatshepsut was born around 1507 BCE, during the 18th dynasty, one of Egypt's most powerful eras. She was the daughter of Pharaoh Thutmose I and his great royal wife, Ahmose. This meant she carried royal blood from both sides of her family. From childhood, Hatshepsut was different. She was educated like a prince. She learned writing, politics, religion, and the art of diplomacy. Few women in Egypt received such training. Her father gave her the prestigious title God's Wife of Amun. This was not just ceremonial. It made her the chief priestess of Egypt's most important god. The role came with enormous wealth, control of temple lands, and political influence. Through this position, she built strong ties with the powerful priests of Amun. It was a foundation she would later use to claim the throne. Hatshepsut also witnessed Egypt's golden age under her father. Thutmose I expanded the empire's borders into Nubia and Syria. He filled Egypt with wealth, captives, and tribute. Young Hatshepsut saw firsthand what it meant to rule as pharaoh. By the time she came of age, she was not just a princess. She was a leader in waiting, already groomed for greatness. Chapter 2, Rise to Power. When her father died, Hatshepsut's half-brother, Thutmose II, took the throne. To secure his rule, he married her, his half-sister. This was tradition in Egypt. Royal blood stayed within the family. As Queen Consort, Hatshepsut gained experience in politics. But when Thutmose II died young, Egypt faced a crisis. The throne passed to his son, Thutmose III. A boy just 2 years old. Far too young to rule an empire. Egypt needed a leader. Hatshepsut stepped in as regent. At first, she ruled in his name, guiding the kingdom until he could come of age. But soon, something extraordinary happened. Hatshepsut claimed full kingship for herself. She was no longer regent. She was pharaoh. To justify her rule, she turned to religion. She declared that the god Amun-Ra himself had chosen her as pharaoh. In temple carvings, she was shown as the divine daughter of Amun. Not just born of a king, but born of a god. To reinforce her authority, Hatshepsut took on the full regalia of kingship. The royal kilt, the ceremonial beard, the Nemes headdress. On statues and reliefs, she was portrayed as a man. But this was not deception. It was symbolism. By appearing as a male king, she ensured Egyptians recognized her power. Hatshepsut had crossed a boundary no woman before her dared. She was no longer queen. She was Pharaoh, Egypt's one true ruler. Chapter 3, Hatshepsut's golden reign. Hatshepsut's reign marked the dawn of a golden age. Instead of endless wars, she chose stability. Instead of conquest, she chose prosperity. Her greatest achievement was trade. She reopened routes lost in years of conflict, and launched her most famous expedition, to the land of Punt. Punt was mysterious. A faraway land rich with treasures Egypt desired. Ivory, ebony, exotic animals, incense, and gold. But most importantly, myrrh and frankincense. Sacred resins used in temples and burial rituals. Her fleet of massive ships sailed the Red Sea. When they returned, they brought back wealth and wonders. Exotic animals paraded through the streets. Incense trees were planted at her temple. It was more than trade. It was proof that the gods blessed her reign. Hatshepsut also built more monuments than any pharaoh before her. She raised towering obelisks at Karnak, carved from single blocks of granite. Their tips, covered in gold, reflected the light of the sun god Ra. Even today, one still stands, nearly 30 meters tall. But her masterpiece was her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari. Carved into limestone cliffs, it rose in grand terraces. Painted walls told the story of her divine birth, her trade expeditions, and her rule. It was both a temple to the gods and a monument to her own greatness. Under her reign, Egypt prospered. Grain filled the storehouses. Temples overflowed with offerings. And the empire thrived in peace and wealth. For over 20 years, Hatshepsut ruled not as a caretaker, but as one of Egypt's most successful pharaohs. Chapter 4, Disappearance and Erasure. After ruling Egypt for more than 2 decades, Hatshepsut's reign came to a sudden end. Around 1458 BCE, she vanished from the throne. Her stepson, Thutmose III, finally took full power. But how did Hatshepsut die? The truth remains a mystery. Some evidence suggests natural causes. Mummies believed to be hers show signs of diabetes, arthritis, and cancer. Others point to infection from a tooth abscess. Perhaps age and illness claimed her life. But ancient whispers suggest something darker. Did Thutmose III remove her to claim the throne? Did rivals plot against the woman who defied tradition? Historians still debate. What we do know is what came next. Her memory was attacked. Her statues were smashed. Her images carved out of temple walls. Her cartouches erased from monuments. This was not done immediately after her death. It happened years later, during Thutmose III's long reign. Why? Some believe it was revenge. Others think it was politics. By erasing her, Thutmose III rewrote history, making it appear as though Egypt had never been ruled by a woman. To the ancient Egyptians, to be forgotten was a second death. And so Hatshepsut's name was buried. Her legacy hidden. Her story almost lost to time. Chapter 5, Rediscovery. For more than 2,000 years, Hatshepsut was a ghost. Her temples stood in silence. Her statues lay in ruins. Her name had been carved out of history. But in the 19th century, everything changed. European explorers and archaeologists swept across Egypt. Among the cliffs of Deir el-Bahari, they uncovered a vast mortuary temple, one unlike any other in Egypt. Its walls told a shocking story. The story of a pharaoh who was not a man, but a woman. At first, many dismissed her as a regent, a caretaker for Thutmose III. But the evidence grew undeniable. The titles were royal. The inscriptions clear. She had ruled as pharaoh in her own right. The mystery deepened in the 20th and 21st centuries. In 2007, scientists using modern technology made a breakthrough. In the Cairo Museum, an unmarked mummy lay forgotten in a side chamber. CT scans and DNA testing revealed the truth. The mummy belonged to Hatshepsut herself. Analysis showed she had suffered from diabetes, obesity, and cancer. Her death was likely natural, not violent. And with this discovery, history's silence was finally broken. Today, scholars recognize Hatshepsut as one of the most powerful rulers of the New Kingdom. Not just a queen, but a pharaoh who defied tradition, and left behind a golden legacy. Finally, Hatshepsut defied the odds. She broke tradition. And she ruled an empire greater than any queen before her. Her story reminds us, power does not belong to men alone. It belongs to those bold enough to seize it. If you enjoyed this journey into ancient Egypt, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for more stories of gods, pharaohs, and lost civilizations.